Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A response to charges by Sheriff T.J. McDermott. Good morning, everyone. This is Montana Morning. It is Thursday, June the 4th, 2015. Right now, the sky's mostly clear. A nice day without clouds. Looks like without rain. It's absolutely gorgeous out there. 44 degrees in Missoula. And our newscast is sponsored by AB Technology Solutions, offering backup and disaster recovery, remote supported monitoring. Find them online at abtechnologysolutions.com. A human rights complaint filed by Missoula County Sheriff's Captain Mike Dominic this week against Sheriff T.J. McDermott, alleging that McDermott had used his power and position to grant favors to political backers while punishing those on a so-called enemies list. In response, McDermott told KGVO News the complaint was, quote, full of outrageous and slanderous comments, end quote. But Dominic's attorney, Nicole Seifert, takes issue with that statement.
Slander is a false and unprivileged publication. And in this case, what was written is not false, and we'll definitely be able to show that. We have witnesses in the human rights arena who will be able to testify regarding what's been going on at the sheriff's office, and there will be more that comes out about this, but for now, I can tell you that what was written in the complaint can be substantiated.
Mike Dominic and former undersheriff and political rival Josh Clark will both testify about the complaints, but Seifert says there'll likely be more.
No one else has filed a complaint that I know of that is listed. However, there seem to be quite a few people at the sheriff's office who are unhappy, and they will likely come forward as witnesses on behalf of Captain Dominic and Josh Clark.
When Captain Dominic made his unlawful retaliation complaint against the sheriff's office and T.J. McDermott, he appealed to the Montana Human Rights Bureau in Helena. Missoula County Human Resources Director Patty Baumgart details the steps taken by the county after a complaint is filed with the Human Rights Bureau.
They take whatever course they feel is necessary to investigate the claim, probably talking to the complaining individual, talking to people at the county who are presented as witnesses. And once they issue those findings in a formal manner, then depends on what those findings are is what course of action is then available to the county.
Baumgart provides possible scenarios once the investigation is complete.
Often at the conclusion, if there were a finding against the county might engage in, for example, a settlement discussion about how this would be resolved. The matter can be referred, I believe, to what's called a contested case hearing. In
2013, then Detective Sergeant T.J. McDermott and now Undersheriff then Deputy Jason Johnson filed complaints of political discrimination with the Human Rights Bureau against Sheriff Carl Ibsen and Missoula County, and were both awarded $60,000 in a settlement agreement. A former employee of the Altena Federal Credit Union in Billings pleaded guilty to stealing more than $26,000 by fraudulently endorsing checks for deposit. The Billings Gazette reports that 48-year-old Jacqueline Sue Spitzer pleaded guilty in U.S. District Court to one count of bank fraud. As a result of her plea, 21 other bank fraud counts will be dismissed at sentencing. Prosecutors say between 2011 and 2014, Spitzer deposited over $26,000 worth of checks into her personal accounts by writing her account number on the back of the received checks. Spitzer was a collections officer for Altana. She received checks owed to the credit union or to one of its clients. She could face a maximum of 30 years in prison. State and federal officials are beefing up crime-fighting efforts in the Bakken oil patch of Montana and North Dakota. U.S. Attorney Michael Cotter for Montana, along with other officials, conducted news conferences yesterday at both Bismarck and Williston, North Dakota. KGVO News caught up with Cotter while he was in a Dickinson, North Dakota airport.
I was at a press conference at which time the United States Attorney for North Dakota, Chris Myers, and Attorney General Wayne Stancham from North Dakota announced the Bakken Strike Force Group. And it's a good initiative. It's part of the Project Safe Bakken.
Cotter said federal, state, and local and tribal agencies are all combining to provide both intelligence and manpower to fight organized crime in the area.
The problems that we face in Montana are identical to the problems that are being faced in North Dakota. So it's a good venture, and it's going to reap benefits down the line for the people who live in the Bakken.
Authorities say more than 200 individuals in the Bakken area have been indicted on federal narcotics charges since that task force was created in 2013. A 92-year-old Seeley Lake man has died after the car he was driving collided with a dump truck south of Seeley Lake. Our news partners at NBC Montana report the man was driving a Subaru on Tuesday afternoon when he pulled out in front of a dump truck that was headed south on Montana Highway 83. The Subaru driver was not wearing a seatbelt and was transported to a Missoula hospital where he was pronounced dead. The 59-year-old dump truck driver from Bonner was wearing a seatbelt and was not injured. Montana Highway Patrol officials say neither speed nor alcohol were factors in the crash. Still under investigation, the identity of the man who died was not immediately available. 3 men in Montana's Republican Party are vying for the role of party chair. Montana Republican Party Executive Director Chris Shipp said yesterday that Representative Jeff Essman of Billings and former Madison County Commissioner Dan Happel will challenge Will Deshaw of Missoula for the position. Deshaw has been chairman since 2009. Shipp says others could still come forward to be nominated. The winner will serve for 2 years in the unpaid position and will be responsible for guiding the party's overall direction. That person will also serve on the Republican National Committee. Up to 300 Republicans will elect a chairman or woman, along with vice chair, secretary, and regional representatives for the executive board at their annual convention in Helena on June 27th. Missoula City Council Committee of the Whole met yesterday and heard updates on 2 major projects, the Mountain Water lawsuit and the Hotel Fox proposal. Ward 4's Adam Hertz said what is now being called the Riverfront Triangle Project has mushroomed from $37 million to over $150 million in the past 3 years.
It has significantly increased in size and scope, added multifamily housing components, condos, a very large convention center, 2 hotels, retail and office space. I mean, it's just a very complex, very large project.
Hertz said the project would be one of the largest in Montana.
It would bring convention space to Missoula that mirrors what we see in Spokane and Billings. So it'd be a big game changer in terms of, bringing folks in for conventions and creating jobs and economic development.
Hertz said the acquisition of Mountain Water is on hold until District Judge Karen Townsend submits her decision on the case. Now, to date, the city's costs are just under $3 million, with Hertz being the sole no vote on approving all those expenditures. News Talk time now is 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Partly sunny skies today with only an isolated shower chance. Highs will top out in the mid-70s. Partly cloudy tonight with our lows in the upper 40s. A slight chance of a thunderstorm Friday with our high temperatures close to 80. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.